Buried 246 feet below sea level, 246 for trains, 1 for survival, cut through 37 miles of solid chalk beneath the ocean. For centuries, engineers dreamed of crossing the English Channel without a ship. In 1988, they finally had the technology to try.
The idea was born over 200 years ago. In 1802, French engineer Albert Mathieu envisioned a tunnel lit by oil lamps, crossed by horse-drawn coaches.
In 1882, they came within 1,870 meters, but fear of military invasion shut it all down. The tunnel would wait another 100 years. The route? 31 miles. Folkestone, England on one side, Coquelles, France on the other. And between them, the world's most challenging undersea geology. The key to everything was chalk marl, a rare geological layer, impermeable to water, yet soft enough to drill. Without it, the tunnel was impossible. In 1986, the Treaty of Canterbury was signed. 10 construction companies, 5 British, 5 French, would build the world's largest privately funded infrastructure project.
June 1988, Shakespeare Cliff, England. The greatest underground construction project in history begins. The first TBM powers to life.
300 feet long, 28 feet wide, weighing over 1,300 tons, the largest drilling machines ever built for this purpose.
The cutter head tears through 18 to 25 feet of rock every single day. Behind it, robotic arms lay prefabricated concrete rings, sealing inside the tunnel. Over 400 men work around the clock. 3 shifts, 24 hours a day. No days off, no stopping. Every hour matters. The construction site at Shakespeare Cliff becomes a small city, with its own railway and its own concrete factory, producing tunnel lining segments around the clock. Each concrete ring is built from 8 segments plus a keystone, precision cast to within fractions of an inch. Thousands of these rings will line every foot of the tunnel. The undersea section stretches 23.5 miles. At its deepest, 246 feet below the ocean surface. The French TBMs are each given a woman's name: Brigitte, Europa, Catherine, Virginie, Pascaline, assembled underground, piece by piece, in a space barely wide enough to contain them. 2 different countries, 2 different machines. The English side uses simpler, open-face TBMs. The French side needs earth pressure balance machines to fight water infiltration. 3 headed under the sea, 3 carving through old stone. Together, they would bore over 150 miles of tunnel. The service tunnel leads all 3 bores, drilling ahead of the main tunnels to test the geology, to warn of danger zones and guide the rail tunnels behind it. Every foot forward creates thousands of tons of excavated chalk. This material, called spoil, is continuously carried out of the tunnel on a dedicated underground railway.
Over 5 million cubic meters of chalk excavated from the British side is deposited here, behind a re-entrally creating 74 acres of new land.
Every ring of concrete is sealed with injected grout, filling the gap between the lining and the rock, creating a watertight barrier against the immense pressure of the sea above. The greatest danger beneath the sea, water. At 200 more through any crack.
Activate the secondary pumps now!
In seconds.
Miles underground, in cramped chambers carved from solid chalk, 15,000 men eat and return to work. Some shifts last 12 hours without seeing daylight.
A dedicated 900 mm gauge underground railway system carries everything into the tunnel. Concrete segments, workers, equipment, and food, miles beneath the ocean floor. The 3 tunnels aren't just connected. They're designed as a single unified safety system. Every 300 tunnels to the service tunnel, the lifeline of evacuation. At Sangatte, France, the mirror image of Shakespeare Cliff, 5 TBMs have been assembled underground and launched. 2 countries, 2 teams. By late 1990, after 2 years of drilling, the English and closing at a combined rate of 50 per day, aimed at each other from 15 miles away. October 30, 1990, a 50 mm pilometer pilot hole breaks through. For the first 1,000 years, the alignment error, just 30 centimeters. The British tunnellers chose a Paddington Bear soft toy as the first object passed through to their French counterparts. A small, human moment inside the world's greatest engineering feat. With the service tunnel complete, the main rail tunnels are now precisely guided. Over the next 3 years, the 2 25-foot diameter rail tunnels are bored on both sides. 8 lining segments and 1 keystone seal every ring of the main rail tunnels. 34,000 individual concrete blocks will be installed across the entire tunnel system. Every concrete segment is manufactured off-site. They use Scottish granite aggregate shipped by sea. It is then transported to the tunnel by rail. When the English TBMs finish their undersea dry retrieved, they are driven downward into the Ork and buried, permanently entombed beneath the channel floor. Beneath the channel, workers carve out 2 enormous junction caverns, each 150 meters long, the largest artificial caverns ever created under the sea. Carving these crossover caverns required the new Austrian tunneling method. This complex system supports the rock as excavation proceeds. Every 375 meters, a steel cross-passage door separates the rail tunnel. This maintains higher air pressure service tunnel so smoke can never enter during a fire. Fresh air enters from ventilation buildings on both sides of the channel. It is pumped through the service tunnel and into the rail tunnels through cross-passage grills, 50 kilometers underground. While the tunnels are being bored, the surface terminals take shape. At Folkestone, England, 8 loading platforms are constructed to handle the shuttle vehicle trains. The French terminal at Coquelles mirrors the English site. 30 kilometers of track turnouts. The shuttle trains will traverse a figure-8 pattern here to ensure even wheel wear. Power for the trains comes from 25,000-volt overhead lines stretching the full 50 kilometers, fed equally from substations on both the English and French sides for total redundancy. Without cooling, the tunnel would reach 122 degrees Fahrenheit inside. Engineers install 480 km underground cooling system.
Standard railway track won't work underground. Vibration would damage the tunnel structure. Engineers design 1,000 rubber-mounted concrete blocks supporting the rails.
The signaling system sends speed commands directly to the train driver's cab, with automatic train protection that stops any train exceeding the displayed speed limit of 99 per hour. Every train, every system, is monitored from this single control center 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Trains traveling at 99 miles per hour underground compress the air ahead like a piston in a cylinder. Engineers every 250 meters to prevent destructive pressure waves. At the peak of construction, £3 million is spent single day. Every hour of delay adds hundreds of thousands of dollars in costs. 8 British, 2 French, most in the early months of construction. Their sacrifice is inscribed in the tunnel walls forever. 11 tunnel boring machines run simultaneously, some boring toward France, others toward England, together advancing nearly 2 feet of finished tunnel every single day. The French side chalk is harder, more fractured, more permeable than the English side, requiring constant gritting ahead of the TBM to seal groundwater before it can flood the bore. The TBM operator is the most critical man underground, controlling 15,000 tons of thrust and steering a machine the size of a submarine through solid rock. After years of construction, the finished tunnel is a masterpiece of engineering. White concrete lining, precision-laid tracks, and thousands of systems working in perfect harmony. The tunnels don't follow a straight line, they follow the natural dip and curve of the chalk marl stratum, always staying in the sweet spot, at least 15 meters above the gault clay below. At Folkestone, the tunnel emerges from the earth, the gateway between the surface world and 50 kilometers of underground reality. On the French side, the twin portals at Coquelles mirror their English counterparts, the 2 ends of the longest fixed underwater link ever built by human hands. Before any passenger sets foot on a train, the tunnel is tested relentlessly. Thousands of test runs over 6 months. Fire is the tunnel's greatest operational threat. Every system, from pressurized escape tunnels to firefighting vehicles on permanent standby, is designed around one scenario. By the end of 1993, the tunnel systems are complete. Track laid, signals tested. After 7 years and 15 workers, the Channel Tunnel is ready. May 6, 1994. The Channel Tunnel is officially opened at a ceremony in Calais. It is 1 year late and billioneering achievements of the 20th century. November 14, 1994, the first Eurostar passenger service departs London for Paris. The journey that once took a day by ship and train now takes 2 hours and 15 minutes.
At 99 miles per hour, the Eurostar enters the tunnel and disappears into the Earth. In 20 minutes, it will emerge in France, having crossed the channel entirely underground.
Le Shuttle offers Americans something extraordinary. You drive your car directly onto a train, stay with your vehicle, and 35 minutes later, you're in France. No ferry, no seasickness, no weather.
On a busy day, Le Shuttle loads one train every 12, carrying cars, motorcycles, buses, and even motorhomes through the tunnel, handling over 2.6 million vehicles per year. Beyond passengers, the tunnel carries 26% of all trade between the UK and France. Freight trains hauling millions of tons of goods through this undersea corridor every year. The locomotive built for this tunnel, the Eurotunnel Class 9, locomotives, was purpose-engineered for the channel simultaneously. The train has two independent, allowing vehicles to load from both ends simultaneously. The loading gauge is 5.75 meters, the largest of any railway in the world. Each Le Shuttle car train has two independent halves, allowing vehicles to both ends simultaneously. The loading gauge is 5.75 meters, the largest of any railway in the world. Every night, when traffic slows, maintenance crews access the tunnel's ventilation systems. They clean, test, and upgrade equipment that keeps the air fresh for 50. November 1996, a fire erupts on HGV shuttle inside the tunnel. The blaze reaches 1800 degrees Fahrenheit. It damages 46 meters of tunnel lining. After the 1996 fire, 500 meters of damaged tunnel is repaired over 6 months. New lining segments installed, track relayed, systems restored. September 2008, the safety systems flawlessly. All passengers evacuated through the service tunnel, no fatalities. Every year, specialized trains grind and resurface the rails inside the tunnel. This removes wear caused by millions of high-speed train passes. 24 rubber-tired vehicles guided by buried wire can reach any point in the 50-kilometer tunnel within minutes, carrying firefighting equipment, medical teams, or evacuees. Hidden inside the tunnel's service tunnel runs another marvel. The ElecLink, a 1,000 the British and French electricity grids. It is able to power 400,000 homes. Today, the tunnel handles over 20 million passengers annually, plus 26% of all trade between miles of engineered rock beneath the sea. Before the tunnel, crossing the English Channel meant 90 minutes on a ship in some of the world's roughest seas. The tunnel changed everything. 35 minutes in a climate-controlled railway car. Without its cooling system, the tunnel would become an 800-foot deep oven at 102 degrees Fahrenheit. The chilled water network keeps the temperature below 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Allow trains to switch between tunnels for maintenance or emergencies. The largest structures ever built under the sea. The 5 million cubic meters of chalk dug from the British tunnel has become Samphire Hoe, 74 acres of new nature reserve built from tunnel spoil. Land that lit. The tunnel is also an international border, with British customs in France and French customs in England. Juxtaposed border controls mean passengers are cleared, they board, not after they arrive. 50.46 kilometers, 31.35 miles. A project that 200 years to conceive and 7 years to build. When the 1988 excavation teams dug at Shakespeare Cliff, they discovered the original 1882 trial tunnel. The Victorians had gotten there first. Originally estimated at £2.6 billion, the final cost hit £4.65 billion. It became the world's largest privately financed construction project. 10 rival construction companies were forced to work as one. 5 British firms built the English sections. A venture called Transmanche Link coordinated everything. Near the French coast, the geology turns treacherous. Fractured chalk, switched to sealed closed mode for the first 5 kilometers from every direction. The TBMs were built by a joint venture of American, British, and Japanese engineering firms, Robbins Company of Washington State, Markham of England, and Kawasaki of Japan. The tunnel that opened in 1994 was built to last 120 years, have already evolved through 2 generations, with a 3rd generation now on order for the 2030s. Every meter of the tunnel is inspected quarterly. Wall scanning equipment and remote sensors monitor the lining for any movement, crack, or deterioration. June 1, 1994. The first commercial freight train enters the Channel Tunnel. It carries British-made Rover and Mini cars bound for Italy. Every night between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m., the tunnel transforms. Passenger trains stop. They service the world's most complex railway tunnel.
Every day, pumping stations of groundwater that seep through the chalk, keeping the tunnel floor dry through continuous mechanical drainage.
The chalk from the tunnel didn't just disappear, it became Samphire Hoe, a beloved nature reserve on the Kent coast, now open to the public. The Folkestone terminal alone contains 20 keep to hold hundreds of cars, all feeding into a portal barely the width of 2 train tracks. Right now, at this moment, someone is watching. 6,000 sensors, 50 kilometers of real-time monitoring, a team of engineers keeping 20 million passengers a year safe beneath the English Channel.
The Channel Tunnel wasn't the only idea. A suspension bridge, an artificial island, a road tunnel, all were proposed and rejected. The railway tunnel won. In 1994, the American Society of Civil Engineers named the Channel Tunnel, the CN Tower, and the Panama Canal.
Every time a Eurostar disappears into the tunnel portal at Folkestone, it enters a world built by 15,000 men, a world most passengers will never fully appreciate.